I welcome you all to the seventh session of Bootfluencers. So today, first we'll be revising the topics we covered yesterday, and then we'll go through a new topic that is loops in Java. So I'll be sharing my screen. Okay. So yesterday we did operators in Java, and I told you because we are doing integer-based programming in Java, we'll be needing certain mathematical operators. So we'll be needing addition. And I told you that for addition, the symbol is same as in mathematics. For subtraction, the symbol is same as in mathematics. For multiplication, we are using an asterisk. For multiplication, we are using an asterisk. For division, the symbol is same as in mathematics. And for the remainder, we are using the percentage symbol. That is, this is used to get the quotient, and this one for the percentage symbol is used to get the remainder when dividing two variables or two numbers, you can say. And because we'll be storing the values in the variables, we are entering the values in the variables. So all of these operators will be used for the variables only because the variables contain the value. Then I gave you certain questions. For example, we took this one that you enter two numbers, then in a third variable, you can say that is sum. You calculated and stored the sum of these two numbers, and then for division you divided the sum that of the two numbers with any of the numbers, and here was the quotient stored in, and you printed the same over here in the print statement. Then we did a lengthy question. In this question we entered two numbers, then we calculated its sum over here, its product over here, then we subtracted its sum from the product, and we divided the difference that we got by 2, and we stored the quotient over here and the remainder over here, and then we printed all of the values. So now I'll be continuing, and before that I'll just give you one more question for operators, and then we'll continue with loops. So here's the question: write a program to input two numbers, calculate their product and print it. Also divide their product by 3 and print the quotient and remainder. So in this question, you have to input two numbers, you have to calculate their products, and you have to print the product. Then you have to also divide the product by 3, and you have to print the quotient as well as the remainder. For remainder, we use the percentage symbol. So you've got 4 minutes, and as soon as you complete it, you're requested to raise your hands. Hope the question is clear. Okay, but we'll wait for the other candidates till 45. In one variable, you can store the quotient which you will receive on dividing, and in the other, you can store the remainder, and you will print both separately. Okay. So one candidate has raised his hand. Okay. See, first class, the name of the class, public static void main. Yeah, what you made is correct. I'll just copy it down over here on the code. Yeah, so this is the program. In the program, first we have taken two variables A and B in which the user will enter the numbers, and yeah, then we have taken a variable pro for the product, and see, this is wrong. One thing, because for multiplication we are using asterisk symbol, so A asterisk B. Now this is correct. So int pro is equal to A asterisk B for multiplication. Then over here we are getting the quotient pro divided by 3, and over here we are getting the remainder pro percent 3, and then we are printing the values for the product, then the quotient, and then the remainder. I hope the program is clear. Then we will continue towards loops. Candidates who had any doubt in the operators, is this program clear? How to find the question, the remainders, how to multiply, how to get the products. So once more we'll go through it. Here we entered two variables. Now we have to find the product of both of the variables. So we take a variable pro for product, and over here we multiply a with b. For multiplication, we are using this asterisk symbol in Java. And then we are taking another variable q, in which we are storing the quotient we receive on dividing the product by 3. And in remainder rem, the variable we are storing the value of the remainder which we are receiving on dividing the product by 3. And then we are printing all of the values. Yeah, you can take any of the variables. The variable taking is solely at your discretion. The only thing is that you have to keep in mind the rules. I hope it's now clear, so that we will proceed towards loops. Before the break, I'll give you an introduction to loops. After the breaks, we'll do loop, the programs based on interview. So is it clear now? Okay. So now we are over to loops. Loops are basically used to repeat. They are means like a repeat block of Java. They can repeat a statement as much times as you want. They can repeat a whole part for code as much times as you want, instead of writing the code many times. Like last week in our classes, I gave you some questions in which you have to print the values twice or thrice. For such questions, I told you last week that for now you will be writing the print statement twice and thrice. Next week, when we'll be doing loops, then you can only write it once and it will get printed thrice or twice with whatever times you want. So loops are basically used for using a statement n number of times, you can say. So there are two types of loops in Java. First, I am writing over here that loops are used as a repeat, to repeat a block. Loops are used to repeat a block of code n number of times, you can see. Then the major benefit is that instead of writing the code over and over again, you can just write it once and enclose it within a loop, and it will run over and over again. Then there are two loops can be divided into two types. Yeah, so one is entry control loops and the other is exit control loops. In our sessions, we'll be doing entry control loops only, but I'll give you an intro for exit one also. So this is entry control loops. And the other is exit controlled loops. And you're expected to side by side be making the notes. So entry control loops. Yeah. So when we are writing loops, we first specify certain conditions that it will run from this value up to this value, and it will break when such a condition occurs. So entry control loops, the conditions for the loops is checked beforehand. Is checked before the execution of the loop. Whereas in exit control loops, the test conditions are checked after the execution of loop. That is, in exit control loops, the loop at least runs once. Only one major difference. In entry control loops, the code or the program first checks, that is, the Java machine first checks the conditions which we have written for the loop to run. Because when we'll do statements and syntax, you'll see that there are three conditions which you are required to write in the syntax. and which all of these three conditions for entry control loops are first checked. And if those conditions are true, then only the loop will run. Whereas in exit control loops, the loop runs once, and then after running the loop once, the Java machine checks on the conditions, and if the conditions are false, then the loop stops running and you do not get any output. And if the conditions are true, then the loop continues to run. That is, in entry control loops, even if the conditions are false, the loop does not run even once. Whereas in exit control loops, even if the condition is false, the loop runs at least once. Is it clear? I'll be repeating it once again. In entry control loops, the loop first checks on the conditions which are required for the loop to run, which we have stored in the code. And if only if the conditions are true, then the loop runs. Whereas in exit control loops, even if the condition is false, the loop runs once. The loop first runs, and then it will see if the condition is true or not. And if the condition is false, then the loop will terminate. Otherwise, the loop will continue to run. The basic difference is that exit control loops always execute once. And the thing he was asking, block of code means the snippet of code within the brackets of a loop, because now for loop, all of the part of code which you want to repeat is going to be enclosed within the brackets, the curly brackets for the loop. So inform me if it's clear, or I'll explain it once again. Okay. So now entry control loops, there are two of them, and we'll be doing both of them. One is for loop and the other is while loop. Okay, entry control I'll explain once again. And for exit control loops, there is only one, that is do while loop. We won't be doing do while loop in the sessions, just giving you an intro for it. We'll be doing for loops and while loop because they'll be needed throughout the sessions. So I'll just summarize it once. Loops are used to repeat a block of code, a snippet of code. Instead of writing the code over and over again, we can just enclose it within the brackets of loop, and it will run over and over again as many times as we want. Then loops are of two types, entry control loops and exit control loops. In entry control loops, the conditions which we apply for the loop to run are evaluated at the beginning, and only if they are true, only if they stand true, then the loop executes. Whereas in exit control loops, the loop executes once, and then it evaluates the conditions if they are true or not. And only if they are true, the loop continues. And if they are false, the loop terminates and we do not get the output for the loop. The only thing is that exit control loops always execute once, whereas entry control loops do not execute if the condition is false. No, Boolean is not being used over here. Boolean will be used maybe at the end of this week, because there's a loop statement which you will be learning after the break. And in the loop statement, we apply three conditions, and all of the three conditions are first checked, and then the loop is executed. So I hope it's clear. Okay. So now it's time for the break, and you are requested to go through the theory about loops that I told you just now. All of the programs we did up till now, rehydrate, and then come back, join at 11:08. Okay, I'll be sending the new link. Now you may leave. So welcome back. I hope you can see your notes. I'll be sharing my screen so just summarizing it once. Before the break, we did about loops. I told you loops are used to repeat a block of code. A block as in a snippet of code, part of code. I told you there are of two types, entry control loops and exit control loops. I haven't told you about entry control loops that the condition for the loop is checked before the execution of the loop, and only if it is true, the loop executes. And the two of them I told, for loop and while loop. Today we'll be doing for loop, tomorrow we'll be doing while loop. And exit control loops, I told that the conditions are checked after the execution of the loop. That is, the loop gets executed once and then it checks on the conditions, and if it is true then it continues, or otherwise it terminates. And we have only one in Java, that is do while loop. So if anyone has any query up till here, they may inform, and if not, then we may continue towards the statement for the loop. Okay, so I am giving you a question. You'll do it as you were doing the writing the print statement as much times I told, and then I'll make that program with loop. Okay, so write a program to input two numbers and print their sum 4 times. You're requested to type it in the chat box and send the program to me. Clarifying the question states that you have to input two numbers and then you have to print their sum 4 times. That is, you'll store their sum in a variable and then you have to print the value of that variable 4 times. As simple as that, as we were doing that, input a number and print it 2 times or 3 times, same way. So send it in the chat box, then we'll discuss. We'll make it with a for loop instant after public static void main class loop. So yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can inform what is to be done now.
Okay, sir. I am just writing it.
Okay. Okay, so anyways,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
you may dictate what you did, what you made.
Yes, sir. And then we'll do int is equal to a plus b
with a variable SUM is equal to A plus B. And then you will be using the print
and
statement
then
4
we
times.
will print it.
Okay. So if I go with your way, then I'll be writing the print statement 4 times. But now, because we are doing loops, I'll be writing the print statement only once and it will print it 4 times. So here's the statement for the loop. Because we are using for loop over here. In the question, it's stated that you have to calculate the sum and you have to print it 4 times. So for, we'll open the bracket. Now for the loop, we are taking another variable. We'll take a new variable. We are taking x over here. We'll give x a starting value, an initial value. So over here, I'm giving the initial value of 1 to x. Then I'll apply a terminating statement, that is, when x reaches that point, when the value of x reaches that point, then the loop will terminate. That is, x will, if x is less than equal to 4, means x, the loop will run up till x, the value of x be 4. That is, the loop will run from the value of x when the value of x is equal to 1 and will continue to run till the value of x is less than 4 or till it is equal to 4. And then I'll apply the increment to x. That is, the value of x will continue increasing. So over here, x plus plus. And we'll apply a bracket over here. We'll close the bracket after the print statement. Now I'll explain the for loop once again. See over here, we have to print the statement. Yeah, wait. We have to print the statement 4 times. So we used a new variable. We used x over here. We opened the bracket for. We wrote the initial value for x. So we gave x the initial value of 1. And we told the Java compiler that this for loop, this whole block, is to continue to run until the value of x is either less than 4 or it is equal to 4. So I told the Java compiler that the program is to, the part of the code which is in the for loop is to continue to run till the value of x is either less than 4 or it is equal to 4. Okay, that's clear. But I have not applied any increment statement, that is a statement to increase the value of x. So how will the value of x increase? So over here in the for loop, I apply an increment statement, that is the value x plus plus means x, the value of x will increase by 1 every time the for loop executes. So for the first time, the value of x is 1, the loop will execute, and then the value of x will be 2, the loop will execute once again. Value of x will be 3, the loop will execute once again. Value of x will be 4, the loop will execute once again. And then when the value of x will be 5, it will first check if it is less than or equal to 4. And because the condition will be false, then this part of the program will not run, and the loop will terminate, and the program or the code will get the whole output of that. That is, thus we'll get the sum 4 times. And also between these three statements, we'll be using semicolons in for loop. And after the bracket, we are not using any semicolon. Okay, so this whole week we'll be doing, means this, I guess only 2 more sessions are left for this week. We'll be doing loops only. So I told you that we gave an initial value to x. We also gave a final value to x. But we did not, up till now, we have not written any such statement which will help in the increment of the value of x. That is, we have given an initial value to x, we have given a final value to x, but we have not stated how x will reach from its initial value to the final value. And for that, we are using this increment statement over here, that x plus plus, that is the value of x, will increase by 1 every time the loop executes. So that in the first iteration as in the running of the loop, the value of x was 1. And the value of x, when the value of x is 1, the Java machine will check it in the second statement, x is less than or equal to 4. So the Java machine will first check if the value of x, that is 1, it is true for this statement, for this for loop. It will check in the second statement, as in x is less than or equal to 4, and yeah, 2 is less than 4, so the loop will execute. 1 is also less than 4, the loop will execute. Then the value of x will increase by 1, it will be 2. It will check once again, the loop will again execute, the value of x will be 3. It will check once again, the loop will again execute, value of x will be 4, the loop will execute. And then the loop will come to a standpoint, it will terminate because the value will increase 4, it will be 5. And hence the value will not stand true for the condition that we gave. Over here, we have given the initial value of 1. And till the time you are not familiar with loops, you are requested to use the initial value as the same. The termination, the final value, you can take any of it, but the initial value, you take 1 for today. Maybe tomorrow we'll do with another value. I hope this program is clear to all of the candidates. Okay. Loops are an important part of programming. We are doing 2 loops, for loop and while loop. Today we are focusing on for loop, tomorrow we'll do while loop, and after tomorrow we'll do a good revision of all of the loops. So here's one more question. Write a program to print the first 10 natural numbers. Anyone who completes it may raise their hand, and if you're not able to do it, I'll explain to you how it is to be done. If you're not able to understand this question, you are required to make up till the for statement. Because over here it says that you have to print the first 10 natural numbers. So you know that the for loop is to run from 1 to 10. So you're required to make at least till the for statement if you are unable to understand what to do next. And if you can understand, it's well and good. You can make the program and send it to me. Otherwise, you're required to make up till the for statement. In this program, you'll be using only one variable. That is the variable for the for statement. Nothing is to be entered by the user. I'll give you 2 minutes for this program. If you are able to make it, well and good. If not, then I'll help you. Okay. I gave you this question on purpose because when you try to understand a program and you try all of your logics, then you can come to know how to make that program. It will be well kept in your memory. The candidate who said he is not able to understand the question, kindly unmute.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you can just dictate the program up till the for statement.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so start.
Sir, wait a second.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You may now.
Sir, then we'll take n as a number.
Okay. So first we'll declare a variable int n because In the previous program also, we had to declare the variable x first. Otherwise, the program will show error. Okay, then with the for statement,
and then we write for then x is equal to 1 semicolon x is smaller is equal to 10.
yeah, and then x plus plus. Okay, just
X
wait for a
plus.
second.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
now so
Then
just wait
it's
for a second.
we
Yes. So the for statement is constructed correctly. Now, one thing I wanted to explain you, that's why I gave you this question, and that is in the print statement, we can print the value of the variable. Yeah, so over here, if we write the variable which we have used in the for statement, then it'll print the value of the variable. That is, the value will go from 1 to 10. So we'll get the output as 1, 2, 3, up till 10. Because the value of the variable is increasing, the value of the variable is going from 1 to till 10, we can even print the value of that variable which we have used in the for statement, and we'll get the output as all of the values of that variable from 1 till 10. So I'll run this program on BlueJ and we'll check the output. Over here, we are not adding or subtracting anything. We have used the increment statement. Yeah, so I told you that for the for loop, all of the code which is to be executed n number of times, it will be present in the brackets of for loop, in the curly brackets of for loop. And that's why over here I've enclosed the print statement within the brackets for understanding. And now I'll be running this program on BlueJ. Okay, so first intx, then for x equals to 1, x less than equal 10, x plus plus, and then system out.println, and then we'll be entering the variable in which the values have been stored. We'll compile the program. It got compiled. C class compiled, no syntax error. Now we'll be running this program void main, and you can see the output we have got from 1 till 10. Is it clear now? We'll make a small edit to this program. For the program that we did earlier, the sum one, we'll also try the output for that, int a, int b, and then over here we can take int sum equals a plus b, and over here instead of x we can print with it with a message, the sum is plus sum. So now it will get printed 10 times. The class got compiled. We'll be running the program. Yeah, so for int a we are taking the value 5, int b we are taking the value 8. So we'll get the sum as 13. See, we got the sum is 13, 10 times it has printed. So I hope it's clear now. We did it with the message, we did it with the value of the variable used, we did it with just a value of variable. See, this is the same program which we did earlier. The first program which we did for, we printed the sum 4 times. No. Over here you can see the variable used in the print statement is sum. And sum contains the addition of the both of the numbers which were entered by the user. Kindly unmute yourself.
yes, sir.
Yeah, what are you saying?
I'm yes that you have written int sum, and downside of that next line you have written int x. So it should be printed the loop for x only, na? X is equal to 1, 2. How it can
Wait,
come the sum?
wait. In Java, all that is printed is written in the print statement, and you can see that I've written in the print statement the message, and I've written in the print statement the variable, the value of which needs to be printed. So because I've written the variable sum, it will print the value of this variable sum. If I would have written the variable x, it would have printed the value of the variable x from 1 to 10. Is it clear now?
If after I int can't we change it to sum is equal sum x?
Why?
No, replacing sum with x.
But x we are already using for the for statement. Why will we use that same variable twice?
Okay, sir.
See, over here we have calculated the sum of both of the entered numbers in a variable which we have named as sum, and then we have created the for loop. It is the same program which we did after learning about the for loop. Then we created the for loop from 1 to 10. Remember, on the whiteboard we did from 1 to 4. And then within the for loop, because I told you that the statements which are within the for loop, they are printed n number of times. They are printed as much number of times as the for loop is executed. So over here the for loop will be executed 10 times, so it will get printed 10 times. Because I told you that until now the programs we were doing, we were writing the print statement twice or thrice for the value to get printed twice or thrice. And over here we can just write the print statement within the for loop, and the value will get printed as much number of times as we want. Over here I said 10, so it will get printed 10 times. Now instead of rewriting the print statement over and over again, we are just writing it once, and we are storing it within the for statement for it to run a number of times. So I hope it's clear now. Okay, so we'll keep it up till here. You're requested to go through your notes, to go through the programs we did today and all what we have been doing since the start. And then we'll be meeting tomorrow. We'll keep it up till here. Okay, so you may leave. Thank you.